thank you for coming to support me. Now I'm not a politician, but I'm just an engineer, and I know a lot about politics and things like that. So I have a lot of spare time. For the last 30 years, I retired. I just write a lot of things, and mostly pointing out the wrongdoings of the government. And over the last 10 or more years, my articles do not appear in the normal newspaper, yes, you know. The Star and the Straits Times are all controlled by the PN government. They all come under the internet today. Like you go to Malaysia KEADILAN, Malaysia Insider, Malaysia Chronicle. And you'll be surprised, though, there are a lot of people who are very learned in certain subjects that I mentioned, and the commentaries were so good. And as a result, I collect, you know, today, computer is so wonderful. Your article is just cut and paste, it becomes such a big book. All this you mentioned about Puchanaga and how Razali is paid 8.6 million a year, $21,000 a day. Even today's, every year, you know, you look at the latest account also the same. And latest account is shocking. 87 million losses, and the CEO get 6.7 million. That works out to be 21,000 a day. The company lost 87 million. I'm not bluffing, I'm not writing, I'm not afraid to be sued because it's an open audited account. Puncha Niger. And previous year, all written here, you look at the index, Puncha Niger, you can you see all this happening. What page you just turn, you get it. I paid somebody special to index the book, you know what I mean? It costs money, you know. Where do you find Puncha Niger? And they put it down. Now one most interesting and makes me very happy is I have extracted, as I told you, I cut and paste, and I found this brilliant man, you know, who wrote, brilliant young man, who wrote The Migrant's Eye on page 11. This man is my young friend. Where's my young friend? Sean, where are you? Yeah. Now this young man studied law in England. Then he went to Yale to do a master's degree, international relationship and also political science. And somehow, I don't know, sometimes God works in mysterious ways. Although I'm not a religious person, he simply zoom and found this fellow's article on page 110. Okay, come to serious matter about water first. Now, what just now William was pointing out, all these are wonderful, very glaring corruption and mistakes. Now, of late, we have got all this false rumor about water crisis and all that. Now, just 2 days ago, I wrote an article which appeared in Malaysia Chronicle, which I circulated, I printed out. If you do not have a copy, because I printed only 100 copies, I did not know so many people. It costs only a few cents a copy only. Because I try to save a few cents. But I did not expect so many people. So anyway, you can go to the internet, Malaysia Chronicle, and it comes up straight with my photograph. I don't know how they do it. Today's computer is wonderful. I didn't, obviously, you know, appear there. You know. My article came and then I come with this big photograph. And you see, what simply I mean is, why Muhyiddin is so anxious to give out this contract, this transfer of water from Pahang. go through this 45 kilometers of tunnel through this mountain, and holding cost 8.6 billion. And just 1 week ago, I'm not bluffing, you can see newspaper is reported by the Sun, by the Star, that he, after chairing the meeting in the cabinet, and says that by hook or by crook we must get this Langat 2 project implemented. And then he found out, he was told that, hey, part of the Langat 2 project that's filtration plant is still Selangor, and the federal government has got no jurisdiction over this. Then he instructed the Attorney General, hey, please look at the Constitution and also look at all the documents and all the, whatever it is, dig out some evidence that we can get control of this. Why? Because they know the 13 elections coming just in a few months. That's the only time they must quickly give out this contract before it's too late. Now, I would like, as I said, I'm not a politician, but politics is very important because every day you eat, sleep, your children's education, everything. The guy who makes the decision are the politicians. But if they are corrupted, you can imagine all the decisions are all rotten. And eventually you pay. Now, you read this article, you find that there is a cheaper way of getting water to Selangor. You look at the, today computers so once I told you, you just look at Google Map. You see at Tella Ensign, Sungai Besar, all very nearby. And Tella Ensign is where our Perak River flowing there. The river is so enormous, forever you never finish your water. And as an engineer, it is so easy to bring the water from the Perak River into Selangor, because in that region the ground is very flat, same level. And if you are an irrigation engineer, I know some of them are irrigation engineers, you find you can take a canal and there's no need to have gradient coming down that way. The canal water goes there slowly, without any gradient. Perak River will go there and nobody knows about it. Whatever you suck, nothing will happen because the Perak River is so big. So easy and so cheap. In fact, when I'm free, I'll get my old friends who are expert in this matter, who advise Selangor government, support Khalid, and prove them all wrong. Now it's my time of. I don't like to be very long-winded because my wife always says I'm very long-winded. But bear with me. I beg your indulgence for a little while longer. Let's come to talk about water in Perak, in Ipoh. About 10 or 15 years ago, I wrote several letters to our MD Ghazali, Dato Rosli, yes, Dato Rosli. As you get older, can't remember all his name. So I say, 40 years ago, I built a filtration plant in Perak, and we take the water from Sungai Perak, and it was going on happily for 30 years. And then he comes and build one dam in Ulu Kita and spend 1.2 billion ringgit. That's why you're paying. Water rates all went up because of the 1.2 billion. I say no planning use, no good. No reply. I go and make announcement and then somebody get a press conference. All these are not printed. It's all now in this book. You see see the so anyway. Okay. So no reply, you know. Then I said, I wrote another letter. I said, I hand it to him. I said, the least you can do is employ a more qualified engineer to prove me wrong. To say this stupid bugger is talking nonsense. Also no reply. You see, it's so, you are not engineers, let me explain. Water comes, and like every city, you know, whether you go to Sydney or Melbourne or you go to London, most of you have been to London, I suppose. The water comes from the River Thames in London. Always take the water from the biggest river that's nearest to your town. Like we come from Perak, Baru Gajah, Lembu, everybody drinks water from there. Ipoh also drink water for 30 years. Why you go to the Ulu Kinta? Ulu Kinta, those people who stays in Ipoh when they're small, you know, the small little stream that you go and swim, you know, in Ulu Kinta. And that damn thing, you go and get water from the company. They spend 1.2 billion. And the funny part of it, when the Pakatan ran surprisingly ruled Perak, and I was promoted to be chairman of a non-level water. You won't believe, those figures you're talking about, Perak is worse. 40% leakages in Palo Anson. And then typing, oh God, I tell you this instead of typing, you laugh a bit. So one day there was this row of shops near typing. You know when the water main usually run along the road, and then you get piping into each house, and then there's a meter. And then there is this meter, obviously has been leaking, fortunately before the meter. So the shopman didn't care about it. But he used those bicycle tube and ran around it, you know. And then, obviously, where the leakage is, 6 inches front, 6 inches back, always rusty because of the soaking water after. Obviously, they did not repair for more than maybe 10 years. That's why the leakages come in. And then, I said, let me have a look. Wow, traffic police all over stop. There's a backhoe excavator there, waiting for the chairman to come. So I look at it, why do you need a deviation sign and then the backhoe excavator? All that? He said, oh, because the water comes from the road main, you got to dig the main out and change this pipe. Then I say, hey, now you're an engineer, common sense, tell you. This is, you can look at it, it is that little bit that's rusty. If you want to change this pipe, then every house, the pipe must change, you understand? Why do only in this house? Next door also the same pipe was laid, same time, maybe 30 years ago. Then you must do all these. I said, come on, you must have a shit in the brain. And they spend more than $15,000 a month, you know. This engineer. I say, you just whistle, the plumber will come, in 10 shakes of a duck's ass, he would have repaired it. No fuss, they come with a motorcycle. I come motorcycle. This is the Okay, is it done now? Yeah. I can talk forever because this book is so long, you know. Let me finish a little bit more. The most ridiculous is 2 days ago. You see that the LRT in Kuala Lumpur, like railway transit, and the government awarded the contract to George Kent. George Kent is a meters maker, you know, making a water meter. Right? What does he know about railway and all these and all that? And in the first place, they seems to have a very honest setup, you know, of pre-qualification on basing on technical aspect of the contractor, whether it's technically competent, financial aspect of the contractor, whether it's financially sound and all that. And this George Kent was disqualified. And yet, the lowest tenderer was Balfour Beatty. Many of you probably do not know Balfour Beatty because they were here long before you were born. If you go to Kuala Kangsar Chandrian Dam, you will see that Balfour Beatty, more than 100 years ago, built that dam, and then at the end the British formed a company called Perak and was generating electricity. Balfour Beatty practices is the most experienced British contractor infrastructure, and now currently is operated in 80 countries. And they were the cheapest contractor. Why would the government give 117 million about extra to this George Kent? Just 2-3 days ago, and I wrote, no I didn't write, somebody wrote, I printed a copy for you all to see. So ridiculous. Okay, for your listening, please do me a favor. I am not a politician, neither I want money, I got lots of money to do charity. Any of your friends, or your worker, or your gardener, or your servant who earns less than $2,000 a month, the child or children or whatever it is wants to go to university, look for me. I give you an open check. Anybody wants to go to university, come and look at it. Up to now, I've already given about 100 students already. So nowadays I find that very few takers because a lot of them are so rich. Thank you very much for listening.